Good afternoon. My name is Reverend Jim Ernston. I am co-minister here with my lovely wife, Reverend Lisa Herklotz. I've got to admit, I woke up this morning with a tune in my head. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And without skipping a beat, Reverend Lisa says, "Good morning, Mr. Rogers." So I will probably be singing that tune all day long. That will become my earworm of sorts. Welcome to Unity of Charlotte. If you're here in the sanctuary, if you're at home watching this on Zoom, if you're watching this later on YouTube, we welcome you to our Sunday service. So let's go ahead. At Unity of Charlotte, we know that this is a place where we nurture a deep and mature experience of God. So let us do that together. Next slide, please. So please, along with me, Unity of Charlotte is the place where we nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. Awesome. Thank you. If you're here for the first time, we would love to be able just to welcome you here, and you may gently raise your hand and we will welcome you here. Welcome. We're not going to embarrass you, but we are going to welcome you here. We have a welcome packet for you. If you have one already, yes, you got one. Our ushers are up on their job. Fantastic. And we invite you to stay and introduce yourself to us today in the fellowship out in the entryway there. Today we are doing a potluck lunch as well, so you're welcome to stay and enjoy that potluck with us. We have many different ways to keep abreast of all the things going on at Unity of Charlotte. We have our website, we have our newsletter, we have Facebook, and we have YouTube, and we also have our bulletin board out there, which has all the most up-to-date information in terms of days, times, and things. So always check that bulletin board for the most up-to-date information. Let's go ahead and open in prayer. So I invite you to gently close your eyes, make yourself comfortable as we move within, as we move from that head space down into our heart space, letting go of the hurry and hustle of getting here, of all the things on our list. And just know that we are in the right place, here at the right time. We also affirm, we also know that we are one with that divine spirit, one with the universe, one with each other as a community. We can simply say and know that we are one. We're so grateful for each other, for the camaraderie that we bring together on this Sunday morning and coming together to break bread later on. We're grateful for each and every member of this congregation. And together we say, amen. Please join me in our prayer of oneness. There is one presence and one power in my life and universe, God, the good omnipotence. At this time, we would also like to give ourselves a chance to hold others in prayer. If you have a family member, a friend, or a situation that maybe you're going through and would like to say that gently out loud, you can do that now. And know that as we hold these names, as we hold these people and situations in our heart, in our prayers, all is well. Amen. And I was reminded that I have not turned off my cell phone. I invite you to do the same. So silencing your phone would help all of us. Know that we have a prayer team as well, and that prayer team gathers prayer requests, holds them in prayer throughout the next 2 weeks, and then sends those to the village in Kansas City, Unity Village, for Silent Unity, and they will hold them for an additional 30 days in prayer. The prayer box is out in the hall. You can also do that online. We have a prayer request form that you can find on our website, unityofcharlotte.org. Or you can always call Silent Unity at 1-800 Pray Now, or Now Pray. It's Now Pray. I'm a little dyslexic sometimes. Now Pray. That's it. If that's not it, switch them around and then you'll get it. Absolutely. We have the honor of Chris and Mickey doing our daily word today.
Me deleito con la hermosa variedad de colores, fragancias y disposición de la palabra en un jardín. Celebro la imaginación, la plantificación y el trabajo que transforman un turso de tierra, algunas semillas, agua y fortalezan en un lugar hermoso y lleno de vida. Reconozco el papel de orden divino en la creación de este jardín, el cual se expresa a través de quienes no lo crean. Todo comenzó como una idea en la mente divina. Mentes colaboradas crean un plan a manos de después se encargaron de preparar la tierra, sembrar la semilla y cuidar el crecimiento de las plantas. Mi visión espiritual parece el orden divino y la idea y la manifestación que se expresa en todas partes.
I recognize the role of divine order in creation of this garden, expressing through everyone who has worked to bring it into being. It began as an ideal in divine mind. Someone received the ideal. Cooperating minds developed a plan, willing hands prepared the soil, planted the seeds, and then watered and tended to the growing plants. My spiritual vision perceives divine order, the eternal dance of mind, ideal in the manifestation, expressing everywhere.
Él vio Dios todo lo que había hecho, y todo ello eran buenos en gran manera. Cayó la tarde y llegó la mañana. Este fue el día sexto.
God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. Genesis 1:31.
Thank you.
We are going to have a little bit of change in our order, and we're going to start this message Sunday with a meditation. So I invite you to gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Let yourself simply relax into this present moment right here, right now. We're going to take a little journey. So I want you to turn your focus and your attention within. And using your imagination, imagine you are standing in a forest. Any kind of forest. Your imagination will create that for you. With the trees rising above you in all directions. Feeling the ground beneath your feet, alive with energy. Feeling the sunlight on your face filtering through the branches of those trees. A gentle breeze perhaps blowing, feeling that cool air. All vibrant and alive with life. Take a moment to just soak that in. Now imagine right before you is one particular tree. It immediately stands out as if calling to you. Notice what that tree looks like. How round is the trunk? How wide do the roots go out? How do the branches open and spread into the sky? What kind of leaves are on this tree? What is the texture of the bark? As you walk towards this tree, you feel an aliveness and a connection. You may even notice light emanating from the tree. A beautiful, gentle, welcoming light. This tree wants to tell you something. Take a moment to simply listen to what it might have to say to you individually. Perhaps you notice the light you see around that tree is also emanating from you. You are both expressing spirit. There is an energy of life that flows through that tree, and that same energy of life flows through you and me. Now take a moment to thank that tree for whatever that presence is to you. If you heard a message, thank you. Thank it for that message. Perhaps that message was simply a feeling of connection, love, life, vibrancy. But with a sense of gratitude, we say thank you to that presence. As we begin to find and bring our focus and attention back to the room, letting the vision of that tree gently fade, but feeling the life and the energy within you and within me. And gently come back to feeling your body in the chair, in the sanctuary, breathing in the air and gently releasing it. And open your eyes when you are ready. Well, as you may have guessed, we're going to be talking about the earth today. We're going to be talking about nature. Because April is Earth Awareness Month. And the reason we have an Earth Awareness Month is because over time we have become disconnected from the very nature we live in. The reason we have an Earth Awareness Month is to bring back into our awareness and our consciousness the nature, the planet, the system that we live in, and take a look at it once more. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at the nature of nature. What do we mean when we say nature? When we say something's natural? I was pondering this as I was thinking about this talk. When we say something is natural, we usually mean it's something that comes into a manifestation in existence without man needing to do anything, right? It's not man-made. We have man-made and we have what's natural, right? In our foods, we're often now trying to get back to a more natural process of eating, natural foods that occur in nature without us making that happen. So that right there showed me where we live in a state of duality and disconnection from what is natural and what we make. But that's not really the truth of who and what we are. So the first thing we're going to look at is, what is the nature of nature? If you have listened to my talks over time, you will notice and recognize this quote by Myrtle Fillmore, because I use it often. It is one of my favorites, and I return to it often. Because what does she say? Nature is surely the glorified face of God. The glorified face of God. We're looking at God when we're looking at nature. But let's go a little bit further with that, because she goes on to say, see the manifestation of infinite mind. See the beauty about you and see the manifestation of infinite mind. In unity, infinite mind is what we call God. It's one of the many names. Infinite mind. Everything. For our unity, our first unity principle says God is and is all there is. God is the source of all life. Therefore, everything that is expressing God is expressing divinity, is expressing a sacredness, is expressing life in wholeness and perfection and in light. So if you look at nature, you realize, and I really got this by watching a lot of nature series. We can watch a lot of nature series. Nature's fascinating. It is complex, but fascinating. But the one thing I came out of that with this big aha is that everything in nature, it's a whole ecosystem. Everything works with everything else. and everything serves a purpose. There's no waste. It's a complete system of that self-perpetuates life. Now that's kind of an astonishing thing. So we have a planet that is just continually going to generate life in its natural form. Now, the thing about nature is it is a reflection of infinite mind. It's a reflection of God. It is exactly what it is, doing exactly what it's meant to do. A tree is a tree, and it's going to be a tree and nothing else. And it's going to do what a tree is designed to do. The difference between the natural world and human beings is that we're more than just a reflection of infinite mind. We are an extension of infinite mind. We are the conscious, that infinite mind in an individual expression. So we actually have the power to create, like our Creator. We were made in the image and likeness. Nature reflects that beauty of that infinite mind, but it doesn't have its own creative power. It is the reflection of that creative power. Human beings, as a race consciousness, we have that consciousness to play with and to create with through our thoughts, through our actions. So it's almost like we're here in this amazing Garden of Eden to play and discover and explore what we can create individually and collectively as expressions of God here, now, in time, on this planet. But what's happened? What do we do with our creative power? Because we have choice. We have a will, and we have free will, and we have choice. So how we create and how we manifest is up to us individually and collectively. And depending on what consciousness we come from is what we're going to do with the nature, the gift of God that we've been given. Now we're going to look at the idea of the consciousness of oneness or interconnectedness. If we look at nature, nature's the perfect lesson of a holistic system that is completely interconnected and functions for the benefit of all. And when we live in that conscious awareness of our oneness with everything, we will manifest from divine mind an infinite number of ideas and creative possibilities into a world that would be a part of that holistic system. But what happens if we forget who we are? If we forget our source? If we forget that we have this divine potential to play with and explore and create from? If we forget that, then we start functioning as individual little units separate from each other. And now we're functioning from a mode of survival. Right? If I'm separated from my source and I'm separated from everybody around, I'm going to be functioning from a belief system and a motivation to take care of myself and figure out how I can get what I need, regardless of what that means to the whole. Because I'm not even seeing the whole. I'm only seeing my little part. So let me take this now to the next slide here. This is from Emily Cady. And this is a little bit small. I hope you can read it. I'm going to read it out loud. The changes that come through a conscious oneness with the Father, you can also say God, divine mind, spirit, reach into our approaches to the world in general. When we remember our oneness with God, with divine mind, when we remember that we are a part of that mind, creating in our own right, not only individually, but collectively together, we're going to function from a recognition of wholeness and interconnectedness. And when we don't see that, we forget, and well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Because, I'm going to share something that Lawrence Tolliver, many of you know Lawrence here. We've had some amazing discussions about the environment and what has happened in our environment. And really, it's more than just what's happening in the environment. This is really an out picturing of a conscious level of functioning that isn't aware of the wholeness it exists within, right? And what happens? And one of the things he expressed to me, which was a big aha for me, although when I think about it, it makes perfect sense. He said, all of the inventions that we've come up with, and I think about, petroleum and gasoline and rubber and plastics, and these inventions were in and of themselves not a problem. But he said to me, what happened is that invention cycle didn't get completed. Because in nature, there is no waste, right? So a tree, and we often think of the life of a tree as there's a seed, it gets planted, it sprouts, it grows, every year it becomes this beautiful tree. But at some point, that tree has finished its productivity and it begins to release its energy back into the ground so other trees can absorb those nutrients. And it'll eventually fall over, decay, and it feeds the bugs, it feeds the insects, it feeds the ground and all other life. That's the full cycle. We think it ends with the tree. So all these incredible inventions, nuclear power, has so much amazing potential, but the invention part of it stopped with, oh, look what we made. How can we use it? And make money on it generally. But we forgot about the other half of the invention cycles. What do we do with what's left? How do we handle how it goes back into the system? And I thought, oh my God, that's it. The problem is not what we invent. We just stop too soon in that cycle because we forget about the whole system, the holistic perspective. And that's the great awakening that's happening now, is that we are being reminded of and remembering that what is created from this magnificent mind of God is a part of everything. Just as we are a part of everything. And I thought, wow, if we begin living from this state of consciousness, we would no longer be identifying natural versus man-made. Because what we make, we learn from nature. And what we make, we're creating from nature. We just don't do it from a consciousness awareness of the wholeness. So what a cool idea. No such thing as natural versus man-made. It just becomes a part of our whole creative process, our whole creative expression. And how do we do that? by remembering our oneness with spirit, with God, with divine mind. When we do this, we feel a oneness with nature, with everything we use or work with in the outer world. So when we come into that awareness individually, that changes how we act out in the world, doesn't it? It changes the decisions we make, how we live with each other, how we function. I want to go now to Charles Fillmore because I'm going to be wrapping it up here because we have a special treat right after this. Because he says when love, and love is the power, love is the attribute of the divine that connects everything in a holistic expression. Love is that energy. And when we remember and live from love, which is the universal magnet, is brought into action in the consciousness of our race, it will change all our methods of supplying human wants. It will harmonize all the forces of nature and will dissolve the discords that now infest earth and air. This is from Charles Fillmore, our co-founder of Unity, and Emily Cady, one of our foundational teachers at Unity, and Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder with Charles Fillmore. All of them felt this wholeness and deep connection to our natural world. So my invitation to you is when you leave today, what can you do to bring about that awareness? How will you remember? When you make choices, perhaps you'll ask yourself, how does this impact the whole? And then go into prayer, meditation, create affirmations to remember that you are a part of a magnificent, beautiful, amazing, and unlimited universe. And you're invited to play. So with that, I am going to invite our Unity of Charlotte players up who are going to take this message into a whole new level. Dr. Adrian Calabrese, gosh, Dr. Adrian Calabrese, come on up. Hey, do you want this or they'll do it?
Got it. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the theater. The first production for the year. We're very excited about it. And Reverend Lisa told you about oneness and the earth and how we need to play a little. So we're going to play a little, and hopefully you'll hear again in the play what Reverend Lisa just mentioned to you, just to put a little icing on the cake. And I think behind behind me, not you, you can see this is our cast for today. They're readers. This is called Readers Theater. And sometimes we have names for the characters and sometimes we don't. And I wrote this play and so my fingers are crossed that everything goes well. And you can see our readers, Linda Bergeron, Patricia Burrow, and Campbell, Roberto Castillo, Steve Argo, Beth Pearson, and Leslie Pierre-Felice. And Steve has also produced this show. So now we're really getting big time. We have a director and we have a producer. And if you are interested at all in joining us for any of the productions, we're going to do 4 this year. So if you're interested, just see me and I will steer you in the right direction and put you on the boards, which means on the stage. And without further ado, third from the sun.
Strange title, huh? Third from the sun. Perhaps you know it better as Gaia.
Or maybe Terra, but simply our Earth, the third planet from the sun.
Scientists tell us that our Mother Earth is about 4.5 billion years old, and to date is the only astronomical object known to harbor life. But that could change.
Boy, that's old, older than you.
Thanks a lot. Let's get back to them.
Well, our planet serves us well, and this month we pay extra attention to its well-being by honoring her on Earth Day and Earth Awareness Month.
At times, we as humans have not been good to Mother Earth, and you should always be good to your mother, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take it from here. Our Earth is more than just a physical planet we live on. It's a gift, a blessing from God.
It is more than that. It's an expression of God.
That's right. We are sacredly connected to the Earth and all of its inhabitants, from humans to insects,
To plants,
To animals, all of mankind, in fact.
And water, air, fire, ether.
Ether.
That's what I said, ether.
Okay.
the Christ consciousness that exists in all of us exists in every element of the universe.
Kind of like one big happy energy.
right?
Right.
One big happy family.
More like one big happy expression of God.
Nature reminds us of the wonders of that expression. And the spiritual energy that's in nature is the same energy that's within us as humans.
In the other words, we are one. At one met.
Animals, plants, insects, all living beings tell us about ourselves, show us their expression of the divine in all of us.
In so many beautiful ways.
In the song of the bird.
In the sound of the wind rustling through the trees.
In the scent of a flower.
We humans may appreciate, but do we really understand how connected we are to it all?
The sun, the sky, the moon, the stars.
We are one. The trees, the ocean, the mountains, the plains.
We are one.
We
are one.
We are whole.
Everything. Everyone. Every living being.
And even the energy within inanimate objects completes us.
Completes us.
It is our privilege to nurture and to take care of all of life.
We've seen some really upsetting things that our Earth has had to endure.
It is the disconnect between spirituality and oneness with nature that is causing challenges we face as a global community.
We need to take good care.
Our planet, our universe has suffered at our hands.
We need to take good care.
When we harm the earth, whether it's living or inanimate, we harm ourselves.
We need to take good care.
Our spiritual connection to divine consciousness
And reverence for the natural world.
Helps us understand the interconnectedness of all things.
This connection compels us to live in harmony with nature rather than dominate or exploit it.
You know, in the ancient world, spirituality and nature were not in conflict.
They were believed to have a deep and subtle connection.
I see. So man's knowledge of his divine self helped him to form a strong and healthy relationship to the creation in which he lived. Our Earth.
Man saw God in a very different light.
That's right. When man finally understood that he is part of all things, he could see himself.
And everyone and everything around him
As a whole, a complete energy.
Honoring all of creation.
As an expression of divine source, God.
If we act with divine compassion and care, we will have a deeper connection to both others and the environment.
When we experience spirit through our world, we really connect with the all there is.
And our consciousness will rise above greed and exploitation.
Yes, you got it.
So living a spiritual life is the key to this relationship.
What would help elevate our consciousness and deepen our connection?
Spiritual practices, of course.
Affirmative prayer,
Meditation,
Yoga,
Listening to soothing music,
Interpretive dance,
the written word,
Spiritual art,
and theater.
but most of all,
spending time in nature and honoring the God in all.
so today we say thank you.
thank you.
thank you to our source, the creator of the whole, the divine within all of us and all we see.
we are one.
All are one.
We are divine.
All are divine.
We are whole, all are whole.
And
so it is.
We so appreciate our Unity of Charlotte players. Now we move into that offering part of our service. We know that as we give, we also receive, and it's through your generous gifts that Unity of Charlotte moves and continues to be a light within this community and the world itself. So join me in our prosperity blessings and say these words out loud. Joyously, I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. The light of God surrounds us. We are light. The love of God enfolds us. We are love. The power of God protects us. We are power. The presence of God watches over us. We are presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.